Yeah, so it's okay. All right, so where were we? So we left off here in AMD. For those joining us on YouTube, we were just going over our list: PCG, FedEx, AMD. Now we're on AMD actually here. So again, AMD after a very rough open here, not very clean. Look at the 1, look at the 5. Again, no real patterns forming here. And then you lose the view app and becomes a beautiful. It was not on the broadcast, so it's okay. All right, so let me mute that. There we go. Towards the bottom. So again, just a very clean downtrend here, but not at the open. Next, we had Netflix. Netflix was a very good trade. And man, I traded this so poorly. I'm still upset about it for several reasons. So we got a beautiful opening range breakup here on the 5, right? So the entry is not going to be here. I took the entry a little bit too early. I posted this on Twitter. I got in, I have FOMO, so I got in right in this 5-minute candle. I usually want to wait 5 minutes and wait for this pullback. I did not wait for this pullback. I thought it was just going to break through all these levels and keep going. And look how beautiful this thing turned out. I should have re-entered again here. On the 5, you have a nice higher highs, higher lows. On the 1, you have an ABCD pattern as well. Here's your B, here's your C point, kind of holding, and then that's your D. So you had a lot going on here. Another re-entry should have been here. My entry was around here. Thought it was going to break out, stopped out, and then I should have re-entered here. This would have been a great re-entry. And Andrew had mentioned, what's the 1-minute chart showing? Let's see. Shows what the 1 minute was for your trade, and then when I showed him, I realized I was putting it together, and I realized, oh man, this could have been a great re-entry again. But overall, some members in our chat room, Mac, I know you took this yesterday and for the long haul, and again, it never looked back. And now looking at also the 5 had a nice ABCD pattern as well. So again, just a lot of patterns here forming on the 1 and the 5. When you have so many patterns forming, it's like more confirmation, right? You get more confirmation this is going to be a strong move. And once it left this 318 level that we had here, and we spoke about this in our daily chart, right? We said, no, Netflix has a great daily chart, horrible pre-market activity, but if it can break out of this area here, it can be great for long, because a daily, if we go back real quick, it had room, right? We had some room. We left some areas of resistance right in here, and we have room all the way to this moving average right here, 326. We didn't quite get to it, but man, that was close enough. It's a great move there on Netflix. All right, next we had AMC. AMC was garbage. Didn't really do much. The volume wasn't there. Again, so just look at it here. You had a nice little pop here, and then after that, volume just died down. So you don't want to be in a stock like this. Nvidia was also not all that great. Had a nice pop here. If you're looking for a 1-minute opening range breakup, you had an opportunity here. The 2-minute was a little bit too extended from the VO, so that might not have been a great move. So yesterday we had our lifetime webinar talking about how to trade in the first 5 minutes and the way Andrew and Eamon take these trades. And man, they had a lot of great tips on here. And just to kind of mention, these trades are not easy. I know we go through them now, and yeah, after the fact, it's very easy to look at the chart and say, hey, this could have been a great trade here. But the thought process that Andrew was going through yesterday, it's not an easy one. It's not an easy one, but he's always asked, what are you looking for? What are you doing? Well, how do you find these trades? How do you know to get in or to get out? How do you know it's a pullback? And yesterday on the lifetime webinar, he went through that process, explaining what he's looking for, what he likes in the stocks, and and how he's taking these trades, because he does this quite a bit. We still recommend, if you're on the newer side, if you're just starting out, avoid trading in that first 5 minutes, because it does take a level of expertise and a level of speed to get in and out. I always tell people, if you're having troubles, stopping out of trades immediately, this is not a strategy that you want to do, because if you cannot pull that trigger in and out right away, you're going to pay the price if this thing goes against you, because the moves can be very violent and very fast. Obviously, you want to wait till the volume dies down a little bit. The moves become a little more forgiven, especially if they go in against your direction. Out of all the possibles we had yesterday, Tesla was really the only one that looked great. Had a nice kind of a bullish engulfing crack. If you include the pre-market candle here, this red one, this was nice. Took off nicely from there. It held, and then it just kept going up. It just kept going here nice all the way up to 389. And I believe now this is the all-time high, right? Yesterday did that. Let's look at the daily, right? So yeah, we got all-time high 398, I believe.
Yeah, it's an all-time.
Yeah, perfect. All right, guys. So that is what we had yesterday. Norm, what do we have on the SPY today? Anything exciting? Any news for the markets?
News this week, up until this morning, there really hasn't been a whole lot of interesting news that's come out. That changed a little bit. We had weekly jobless claims. They dropped right as we were going on the air at 8:30 Eastern. They came in a little higher than expected. There was really a surprise jump last week, and they expected some seasonality and a drop to occur. That didn't pan out quite as much as they thought. It wasn't as high as last week, but it didn't drop as much as they expected. And then really a little bit of the shocker, and I think what has actually moved the market lower in the last 10 minutes was the Philly Fed survey. It's a monthly survey that's done and kind of it gives a gauge on manufacturing business outlook for the prior month in the district that the Philly Fed represents, which is the third Fed district, I believe. Anyway, enough getting in the weeds about that, but it came in, I think it was like 0.8. What did it came in a lot weaker than expected. It was expected to come in at 8, came in at 0.3. Prior month was 10.4. So it showed a slowdown in that sector. So that's something people will be keeping an eye on, especially since there was talk of recession September, October. The market's heated up, the economy, everybody seems to have a positive outlook, and then we're getting hit with a couple of these little things here and there that are kind of contrary to that. So be keeping an eye on that. Other than that, existing home sales and leading economic indicators out at 10 a.m. this morning, and then some economic data tomorrow as well. So that is it.
All right, excellent. All right, folks, so let's get to it again. Pretty light on our announcement. I'm sorry, on our gappers list this morning. So again, not a lot going on here. But again, the last couple of days, we're going to see that, volume's going to start dying down a little bit. We expect it to die down a little bit in the coming week, coming days with the holidays. Although last year we did have a good December, and this December it still has been very, very active with all the news coming out. Just a lot of things happening that are keeping the markets, pretty active. If you look at the spot here, this is a very healthy, very volatile market. Look at some of these moves here starting in December. You got a nice little drop down here, recovery. So again, it's been really fun. It has not been stale or dull at all, to say the least. All right, so let's start over with CAG on this list. CAG at the moment is, what do we have here on CAG? 161,000 shares traded right now. It is up 5%. Horrible pre-market activity. I don't see anything great here in regards to flow or just anything forming nicely. It is early, only 8:42 Eastern time. Daily chart seems to have broken out of a level of resistance. We have a kind of a range stuck in this area since probably mid-November, looks like. So kind of stuck in this range here, up and down. It's kind of just bouncing off several levels within here of the highs and lows of yesterday. And now we got a breakout. So again, that looks interesting. I like this breakout. We have some potential here to go even higher. We have traded this one in the past. I don't recall exactly how clean it trades, but if you look at this daily, there's nothing clean about it in regards to patterns or anything like that. It's just sideways everywhere. I mean, going back into
these packaged goods companies, CAG being one of them, Procter Gamble, all these, they can be really tough to trade. And they don't. I mean, there are exceptions. Don't get me wrong. Some you'll scream out, something traded great at some point, but overall, they're generally tough to trade. A little bit choppy. They're very institutionally traded.
Yep.
And they don't really want to run. In this particular case, they had earnings they released this morning and they beat. So that's what's going on there.
Yeah. So that's what makes it. That's one of the things that makes it a little bit more interesting this morning is that they beat earnings. But overall, if you look at this chart, look at this thing. It's just on a range, just stuck on a range. This same range for just since April, right? So we got several breakouts here. Again, not sure how much room you have to grow. We already to run. We already had the top here being hit. So again, it's just a lot not going on for this one today. We'll throw it on here. I don't think we're going to get anything great out of this one. We might just scrap it from the list. Let's look at MU. MU has been very active over the last couple of days. Again, daily chart has been great. We had some choppiness here where it was not doing much. Intraday was nasty. Now we're back in some kind of flow here. So pre-market activity at the moment, 1.1 million shares traded so far this morning. Not a great pre-market activity, but this is some really good volume on MU. We haven't seen that type of volume at the pre-market in a very, very long time. So again, we're gapping up 3.7. This is worth watching today, guys. I think we're going to get some good movement out of this one this morning. Norm, I think this was the earnings, right? We spoke about this yesterday.
Yep, they had earnings. They released last night. They beat earnings by a penny. They beat revenues. Their guidance was essentially in line. Forward guidance was essentially in line with what was expected. But more importantly, and I've spoken about this on the pre-market show with you before, is the semiconductor sector is an extremely cyclical business. It can be very profitable. So companies, when there's demand for DRAM and NAND chips, they ramp up production. These companies get them out to market. The price drops just like a commodity. Then the business goes dead. They have to lay people off. The stocks go down, and it's just this vicious cycle. So that's over the last 18 months, I'd say about 18 months, I think. The semis have just been hammered, and now these companies are saying out they pretty much troughed, and they expect a pretty big ramp. And 5G phone technology that is just starting to come to market in other parts of the world. I don't know that anybody really has 5G in their hands in the US yet, of any scale at least. As that comes, that's going to put more demand on this AI and everything else. So we're ramping up into the next cycle of these semiconductor stocks. MU mentioned that they believe the business cycle had troughed.
Yeah. So again, just a great activity here on MU after reporting last night. So again, we'll definitely have this on our list. Look how we have hit this level already, 55.51. That was a level we had on our daily. So if we go back here, where do we get that from? So we're already hitting that, very close to our high of our pre-market. Actually, we'll look at that when we do levels. Let's get over to AMRN. AMRN on this list.
That was, I believe, from late. It was from early to mid 2018 is where you're going to find that level, and that's where the cycle last peak that I discussed. So we've got a long way to go. This thing's all-time high is up around 100. So that back from the .com boom, but our most recent high was in 2018.
Yeah. All right, so so good to have that info. Again, MU is going to be surely interesting today. AMRN, guys, this one has been extremely active. Look at this daily over the last couple of weeks, actually starting mid-November. Just been kind of all over the map here. You got several pops that were very aggressive. Looks like we're on a little downtrend now forming here. It has not been able to establish any uptrend at the moment. And it looks weak. Looks like it, on the daily at least, looks like it might want to break this level and head down to this 1911, which we tested several times here already, or at least once or twice. So again, not sure what to expect on it. This one is going to get the volume. Every time it starts off with a very weak and a light pre-market activity, it does get going. So again, this is a stock that people love to trade. I'm not a fan of it. I think it's sometimes very difficult to trade. On this day, though, we did have some good activity. It became a nice short in the intraday, had gapped up, and it gave all of it back. So this was nice to see. We can see how we trade that today. We were stuck between several levels on here, between the highs and lows of the last two trading days, and just these other levels we have on here as well. So we'll come back to that one, get some levels on it, and see how it's going to trade today. Let's go NASDAQ active, NASDAQ gainers. NAKD, we know is a garbage stock, usually always here with penny, trading by pennies. INPX, another penny stock, not doing much. PRTK, PRTK is gapping up 42, 1.6. Let's check what the flow is on this one. Here we go, PRTK. All right, so PRTK right now is 31 million shares flow, so it's not a low flow. It is on the higher side. Pre-market activity is not looking all that great for 1.6 million shares traded, and the daily has some pop. It has popped up before and held here. You can see when volume comes in, you can see a beautiful pop here. Not a fan of it, guys. I mean, just these lower price stock with this type of pre-market activity. Just again, they're just not great. We can throw it on here as a possible. But I prefer just to watch other stuff. I think these stocks trade a little funky. They're difficult to trade for sure. And sometimes when you see some of the patterns that we're looking for, there tends to be a lot more fake outs on these lower price stocks on like an ABCD pattern, right? Everybody's looking for that. And once you see that signal, it's so easy to get slammed by somebody else, right? With the type of stocks, a lower price stock that they are. So throw it on here. We'll see what comes out of it. MU we have on our list. NASDAQ, what's going on here? It's pretty much flat at the moment. BNGO. What is it?
Penny stock.
Yeah, penny stock, garbage. SELB, also another penny stock. Not much going on. It's got some volume, looks active, but again, just look at this daily. I don't want to be a part of any of this crap here. So we'll get rid of that one. CBIO. This one is also not looking great. It's got volume, right? A lot of these stocks today have volume, but just not looking great. Now CBIO, we have I believe we have looked at this one in the past, or at least traded it in the chat room in the past. It is a low flow stock, 11 million shares float. It's got some volume, but again, just look at this pre-market activity. It's not looking all that great. HSDT, penny stock trading under $1. We'll skip that one as well. AMD, let's see what that has to offer. So AMD's daily continues to look very, very good. Reminds me of yesterday's Netflix, right? It has that look. I say it wants a breakout. All it needs is a little boost from the SPY, to get it going here. Just to kind of break out of this area. Now MU is ripping. Obviously they're up nicely to 3.7. Hopefully that can help AMD. I remember in the past these two were so tied in together. Whatever MU did, AMD did. They haven't been doing that. AMD has been ripping for a long time, and MU has been stagnant on their daily chart. But if we can squeeze above this 43, this is going to be a fun time here on AMD. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Next on our list we have CTXR. Penny stock 58 cents, and we're not looking at that. Nasdaq gainers, guys. PRTK we looked at. CBIO we already looked at as well. SPEX no volume. BINGO also another penny stock, nothing great there. A couple of block trades, and just look at the action on here, right? You have 800,000 shares trading, and just you barely have any movement out of that, so that's not good for us for the type of stuff we're looking for. AZRX, nothing happening here. SELB we looked at already. INO also nothing great on this area. NBEV also nothing happening here. BoxL always on this list but never doing anything great. And the last one, MBRX, also just a horrible stock here. Nothing to look at. All right, folks, let's make some room. Yeah, absolutely. Norm, what do you like this morning on your end?
So Roku's been in play. I'm going to have that on my side list. NVIDIA started to break out from the levels we were talking about yesterday. I'll have that on my list. Facebook was in play. I'll be watching that one as well. Apple, I think, is dead for the time being as it sits here at 280 until we get a catalyst. The two that are important for the day that I'm going to have my eye on are Darden Restaurants, DRI, Delta Romeo India, and RAD, Rite Aid. Romeo Alpha Delta. RAD blew away estimates this morning. I mean, their EPS was like 10 times what was expected.
Wow.
So this company has been nailed recently in a really bad spot, and they've got a heck of a pop this morning. So,
all right, so we'll definitely go through these here and take a look at it. Yeah, but RAD definitely looks, wow, and the volume is there as well. Let's put this here on our main watch list. And then you mentioned DRI. DRI is going to be hitting our scanners pretty soon as well. It's getting close to that 98,000, so it should be hitting above 100 any second now. Also looks interesting with a nice, beautiful drop, so we'll put this on here as well on our main list, DRI. So yeah, those two are very good. I also saw in the chat room some of you guys are mentioning those two stocks. Well, mainly RAD, so we have that on there. We'll definitely get through that. And then here we have Norm's top 4. Let's look at Norm's top 4 really quick. So Roku, as you mentioned, interesting. Facebook as well continues to hesitate between these 202s. That'll be interesting to see what happens there. And Apple again just continues to get head higher. And NVIDIA is going to be interesting to see if we can get some kind of continuation on NVIDIA as well. All right, see, so now when we look at that, when we look at this list, and I go back down and look at PRTK, it just looks like pure garbage. I don't want to see it no more. There's so much other stuff up here that looks great that there might not be no room for this PRTK. So we'll see. All right, folks, what do you guys like on your end? Let's start here with Stan. Stan is giving us AXSM. See what's happening there. So this one seems to be pretty active. Had gapped up before, so we've been holding here quite a bit. The volume right now is 87,000, so it's okay. But the pre-market activity is not all that great at the moment. See how this thing is traded? It looks like it traded very clean yesterday. Yeah, yesterday after that first 2 hours or so, went on a nice little pop here, breaking the high of the day. So it did trade very clean yesterday. Today could be putting in some kind of continuation. So yeah, this could be a good possible to watch. Then we'll definitely we'll put this on here. We'll get some levels for it. I like the way it's setting up now. I'm not sure if that is all-time high, but we can definitely take a look at that. So AXSM. All right, what else we have here? Let's look down at RAD we have. So some good earnings. They blew stuff out of the water. What else we have? GM. So Mario Luis is giving us GM. Let's see what GM is doing. So GM has not much going on, Mario, right now. It's pretty light in the volume. again, and this stock is another one that it's just very difficult to trade. It has usually lighter volume. It doesn't move much. It's one of those it's like a GE. It's very, very hard to trade. So I'm just going to skip this one today. It's not usually one that we watch. Unless there's some significant news happening that's causing a lot of activity in the morning, you're not going to get much out of GM. Apple we have here. Here's Norm's top 4. We're going to go into these. These are good to watch overall, to have on your side list, guys. Usually, like Facebook yesterday, had a great I don't know who had a trade yesterday in the chat on Facebook. That was a really good one. So these overall always seem to be very active. You can have these what I call Norm's top 4 on a side list, and always keep them on there. If your main list is it's not doing all that well, or you see some room where you can take one of the ones out because it's not performing too well, you can look at your Norm's top 4 and see what's going on there. All right, let's look at BA and see what we have here in BA today. BA has had a lot of bad negative news the last couple of days. They seem to have found some kind of bounce here of this 320, which is a level we had before. We're bouncing right off of that. We're probably going back when they were struggling. Yeah, look at this area here in August. Again, look at the drop, right? Found support around 320, and we're doing that exact same thing 2 days ago here. So could be putting in for a possible continuation. We got a gap here that we can close on the daily. All looks great except the volume at the moment and this pre-market activity. So we'll bypass that one for now. Next we have, let's scroll down here. Apple we have on our end. Good. TVIO. So Michael is giving us TiVo. Let's take a look at TiVo here. TiVo, what do we have? So TiVo, not a lot of activity,
People
guys.
still use this?
What is it? Oh, that's the TV service thing. Oh man,
Yeah.
this is old. Yeah. I guess hopefully into another business besides just that. But this one is, again, this guy's not doing a lot right now. This is a very light volume as well. Pre-market activity is not great. Daily charts also not exciting. So I'll put this on the real far on the back burner down there. All right, let's see what else we have. All right, let's go over to the YouTube channel. What do we have going on here? So we have NERV. All right, NERV. This one, if it's a stock, I believe, doesn't trade very well, because this used to come up in our NASDAQ active a lot. Yeah, this is the one. This is the one, guys, that, again, used to come up in our NASDAQ active a lot. It doesn't trade very well. It's very choppy. It's got some volume. It is down 23% today, so I love that drop. But it's a stock that's very difficult to trade. I remember this one. We can see if it gets better, but just right now, it's just not giving any good opportunity. We can come back to it later in the day, see if anything forms up out of that. DRI, we do have on our list. Norm gave us that one, so we'll be watching that one. The ATR and DRI. The ATR is, where is it here? 158. So $1.50. That's not bad. For a stock that's trading at $100, that's a good ATR. That's what you want to see. So that's a healthy ATR there. CRWD. All right, CRWD. No activity, guys. There's really no volume right now in CRWD. The daily looks great. Like it's been holding this area. Look at the support that it has here. This could be good for for a possible breakout, but definitely not right now for our main watch list for the open. Just not a lot of activity going on in this watch list. I'm sorry, in this pre-market. What else we have, guys? Tesla for a small possible breakout. Let's see. Yeah.
I won't mention on CRWD, especially if it's not in play. It can be extremely difficult to trade, and it's very spready.
Yep, thank you, Norm. And so here on Tesla, yeah, Tesla's exciting, guys. I think again, it has that possible breakout situation here. We are at all-time high, and then usually when stocks hit all-time high with the momentum that Tesla has reached it, it can try to test it again for sure. And if it gets some momentum, you're going to get some squeeze out of here. What is the short? I don't think we have a lot of high short interest on Tesla. I know a lot of people believe that Tesla
has a high short interest. I mean, it's
Actually,
high-ish.
yeah,
It's not nearly as high as it used to be. It's at 20%, according to FinViz, and that's essentially the same in TI.
Yeah, and the thing about this is actually pretty high if you're all-time high, because basically whoever is short, you're in the red right now. So yeah, that's pretty high for that, and this thing can get going. I hope nobody's burning anything. Sorry for the beeping noise. Hope my wife is okay over there. All right, so let's see what else we have. APOG. That's a nice big gap, 16%, but the volume is not quite there. And the pre-market activity just seems very light. But again, I love these drops, guys. When you see such a big drop like this, you can get some movement out of it. I'm going to put it on here, but this will be the last one an ad because we have way too many we have to go through. So see, we started with... Yeah, go ahead, Norm.
I do want to jump in real quick since we mentioned short interest on Tesla and so that is data from the end of the day on November 29th. It's released twice a month, and then it's due 4 or 5 days after that, and then it's released later. So there's quite a delay, and with that run up, it could be substantially different than it is last reported.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's a great point. This thing could be cut down probably in half now if people are stopping out, right? So
or it could be higher.
Oh, that's true too.
It could go either way. You got to keep in mind you still got a lot of Tesla bears out there that see it sitting there and might think it's overpriced.
Yeah.
So it could be any direction. You never know.
Really, really good point. All right, folks. So let's see what else we have here. We are coming up on at 9 a.m. Yeah, let's go over to announcements. Let's bring this up here. Here we go. We've discussed it a few times. We're building the new website, should be released soon. We would love to include some member testimonials in there. So when you sign in and you see the drop-down menu on the left-hand side of your screen, the last one, you'll see submit a testimonial. It'll give you a chance to put your name in there. You can put initials or anything you like. If you don't want your name out there, you can put a headshot and attach that. And then just a quick testimonial, your honest review of the community. We would love to have it to include on the website. And if it's negative, we love to hear that too and improve where you guys think we can. So very, very appreciated there. As everybody in the chat room has noticed this morning, we have 2 new tabs. We've got a call outs tab and we've got a swing trading tab. So this might take just a little bit of tweaking to get it right. We are trying to minimize some of the noise that goes on in the chat room. So the call outs would be specifically for, I see an ascending triangle on Tesla, and something of that nature of a call out for a potential trade idea you see developing at that time. Remember to keep off topic stuff. Maybe it's a technical question of how do I put this moving average on here, or, my DAS is doing this. Put that in the off topic. Call outs for specific trade call outs, obviously swing trading for potential swing trade out ideas. Carlos, you got anything to add there? I think I pretty much got it, but if I'm missing anything, let me know. I think Carlos maybe went to check on what was burning. I did. I am back. Everything's good. All right. Let's
well, we're not done, but did you
sorry
throw
about
it back
that.
up if you would? Yep, not done. We're just talking about the new tabs in the chat room. So I said, guys, it'll take a little tweaking to get it perfect, but just know that that's what that's there for. Main chat, we can discuss trades and everything else. That's what that's for. But call outs essentially is just a real quick, Tesla looks like it might be ready to break up, something like that. And we'll get it nailed down perfectly. Also, new scanner contest still going on. If you have a TI scanner, you can share it in the forum post AB will put up. The winner can win an iPad or an iPhone, be voted on by the community meetups. We've got the January 18th Seattle meetup coming up. More information in the forums. Anybody's invited. You don't have to be a member. Andrew will buy you a drink. Just RSVP if you would in that forum post. Much appreciated. And then 1 week chat room trial discount if you're watching us on YouTube and have not been in the chat, would like to try us out. You can do so by using the promo code premarket24 and get a discount off a 1 week trial that does not auto renew or turn into a different kind of membership. Also, if you subscribe and hit the notification bell, you'll be notified whenever we go live with new content. Thank you, guys.
All right, excellent, folks. So let's get back to it. See what we have going on here. So we got quite a bit. I was mentioning earlier, we started off with just like 2 tickers in our trade ideas gappers list, and look how many we have been able to pull up now. Again, some that just appeared in our gappers list after, and then others that are we've been able to get between the community, you guys, Norm. We've been able to find other stock, other watch lists that actually are trading very well. So let's get to it. Let's find out what CAG is doing here. So again, CAG, looking at it now, it's just still not doing anything. It has a nice pop of 7.2, 173. Norm was explaining earlier as well that this type of stock doesn't trade very good. So I'm just going to get rid of this one here. For the moment, again, nothing looks great about it, especially that pre-market activity. MU I like, guys. We got some really good volume this morning, 1.3 on MU. It's been a monster, ripping a lot higher. Norm did mention on this 55 level we have here, we're going back to 2018 levels here. So we have 55, which we found off this list here. We see several days bouncing off of that. We have 58.28, which is this peak over here. I'm looking at a weekly chart now, guys, because once you go back over a year, a weekly chart helps to better find these levels, right? So above that, we have 62 is a very significant level. You can see here how many times that's been tested. And then above that, if we really go for a run, 64.51 is something you want to have on here. So we do have some room to run here, guys. If we can get above this high of the pre-market, 55, 54, there's a nice little area here where we don't have no real major resistance on there. We can definitely go for a run above that. So going back to our daily, I'm only going to mark down the low of the pre-market. Everything else, I think it's pretty good for MU towards the bottom. You got plenty of support down here, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. Also, on the way up here, guys, again, this is probably the 52-week high. So again, it's a very good level here. 56, 56.50, all these whole dollar numbers are going to be important. So keep that in mind, right? I don't think we're going to get, look, going back to the weekly, we're not going to get from 55 to 58, without some kind of consolidation or pullback. It's not going to happen. So keep that in mind. If you see those whole dollar numbers, you get a 50 cents out of MU. That is a pretty good move, right? You definitely want to make sure you're taking profits if you get something like that. AMRN on this list here continues to get some volume. I do like the way this is forming now. Volume starting to pick up. You can see it down here. We're sitting at a level of support that we have marked at 2010. You can see here from the daily chart, we have some areas here bouncing off of it, opening and closing around this area. So I think that's going to be a good one to have. Low of the pre-market slightly below that, so I'm not going to mark it now because I think it's just too close to this level. I think this level is more important than the pre-market low at the moment. The next level down will be at 1911. You do have a possible here, 1967, right? This is a possible here, 1967. You got a bounce here that happened a couple of days ago. You have a moving average coming in between 1961 and 1911, so be aware of that. But I think this one's got some potential today to head south if it can get the volume at the open and if it can trade well. Sometimes this type of stock, you need to just give it a little 15, 20 minutes to settle in and then see if it can give you a good opportunity like it did on this day here. This was very nice. All right, AMD, guys, also a great one to get going. Pre-market activity is not looking all that great right now, but the daily just looks amazing of this 43. If we can break out, that's going to be very nice and fun to watch. I'm not going to add any more levels besides this one here, 41. If we lose this area here, we can definitely head down towards 41. I don't think that's going to happen. I think AMD is very strong, has been very strong for the last couple of days. I'm looking for a possible play of a breakout here on AMD. So I'm not going to add any more levels. Let's actually, you know what? I don't think we're all-time high on AMD, so I'm just going to go to the weekly. Maybe we are. No. Oh, my God. It haven't been up here since 1999, 2000. Again, I don't know how strong this level is going to be, but just for the heck of it, let's mark down this one here, 47, and you do have one here at 45. Again, this is really, really old. But at least we have something there. ARD, guys. So this one is the stock that's on fire today. 1.4 up 30, 1.4 million shares traded, up 30% this morning. High of the pre-market sitting at 1098. Let's mark that down. And the level above that sitting at 1160. Let's also mark that down. Towards the bottom, you have some areas where you can find some good support that were prior resistance right here at 1040. This one here as well, guys, 942. You can see the clear area. Oops, too big. Clear area of support prior to that, resistance, also somewhat of resistance, some rejections happening there. So 944 will be good to have. Now, do we have anything above 1160 on ARD? Let's just check. Going to our weekly, I don't think we do. I think we're 1160 might be all-time high here. Yes, I think so. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I went back to 2006, and this is what seems to be the all-time high. So that's interesting for RAD. Again, look at this pre-market activity. Very nice, guys. We got a beautiful flow to it. This one's going to be fun to watch today. DRI, at the moment, starting to pick up in volume. Norm, you mentioned this one earlier. Had a light volume, but it's starting to pick up a bit now.
Yep.
Low of the pre-market 1105. Below that, we do have an area here at 108.64, and then above this you have the highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. Now within here, see what the best level is. This is going to be the best level to have, 113.78. You can see here on the daily, we drop down, find support here. We have some consolidation happening between 111 and 108, which happens to be the low of the pre-market, and the next level below. We break out of that. The next area of support is 113, right? Next area 113.78, support resistance. Break out of that, come back down to where the price action is now, and again we break out. So again, several ways these levels are being tested several days throughout the month of October there. AXSM, this one here, guys, again, it could be a possible for a continuation. I don't like the pre-market activity the way it is right now. We'll do some levels for it, but it might not make our final list as we fine-tune this as we get closer to the 9:30, 9:15 time frame. 98.37.45 high of the pre-market. The low of the pre-market is sitting at 93.33. We do have some areas down here. We had a beautiful gap on this. We held, and now we're gapping up again. So that's interesting. Looks like the stock is really strong. Whatever news caused this gap up. So I think it's worth watching, but maybe not on our main watch list this morning. APOG, also one that's gapping down quite a bit, but the volume is very light, guys. I think that this will be an interesting one as well, maybe later in the mid-morning. Low of the pre-market sitting at 33.25. Above that, we have 35.64. Find a nice area of support here. That's becoming resistance now, as you can see that there. Let's head back even more to see what else we have here. So towards the top, we have 37.09, a clean area of support and resistance. You draw a line right on there. You can see on the daily how many times that has been tested both ways. And then towards the bottom, guys, our price right now is sitting all the way down here at 33.35. But above that, we do have a nice level of support and resistance right on here. If you look at this daily, you can see 34.74 has been tested several times here as well, and then as resistance here. So you want to have that down on your list. So again, plenty of levels. I just want to get one more towards the bottom here on APOG. Again, if we decide to break down, we do have one more level down here. It's going to be going back to the December time frame. I'm going to pick this one here. This looks good. 30.90.31 area will be a good one to have on APOG. Again, right now, not looking all that great. Volume is extremely light, guys. So I'm just going to move this down here for if possible. Right now, it's not looking all that great. Okay, top 4, we have Roku. Norm's top 4, we have Facebook, Apple. I think all these are going to be great to keep an eye on, guys, later on in the mid-morning. A lot of these tend to go into a very nice trade if you're patient on it. So again, just keep an eye on these. These are always good and fun to watch, especially if the market's reacting a certain way and Apple is strong and the market is strong. You can find a good opportunity on Apple. All right, folks, that is what we have right now. We're going to fine-tune this list a little bit more. Andrew's going to get ready to come on and go over his watch list building. Thank you so much, guys, on YouTube for joining us. Take care. Have a safe trading day, and we'll see you guys tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern Time.
Take care, guys. Thanks for joining us. See you tomorrow. Morning, Andrew.
Good morning, everyone. Stuff, and thanks for being in the community, guys. So yeah, there are a couple of changes into the chat room. There are new tabs, and again, it's for us is also a work in progress. So we want to experience with stuff. So if you have any feedback, you're always welcome to send the email to me or to the team, and then we implement this stuff. Sometimes you have to play around a little bit until you really find the best tool. Other than that, I think we had a great webinar last night, in my opinion. I don't know about you guys, how many of you were there. I think it went really well, and the recording would be probably posted today or tomorrow. We just have to edit the video and we'll send it into the media center. And I just have to say thank you to AMRN who did that. And I didn't notice that, and I forgot to mention that AMRN is in Russia. The seminar was 6 o'clock in the morning on his time. I totally forgot that. And not only he was awake in that time to do the webinar, but also before that, he was working on the presentation because I was constantly sending email, do this, change that, please do this. And he was working all night on the presentation and 6 o'clock in the morning. I totally missed to mention that he probably was working all night on that, plus the presentation at 6 o'clock in the morning. And then it's funny because after presentation, I sent him a message and I didn't get a reply. Just right after the presentation. This morning I woke up and I said, sorry, I just passed out, Andrew. Yeah, so that was